Hey guys, I'm Brittany,
Hi, Maria.
and welcome to the Be More podcast.
Hi. How have you been? We didn't do our pre
No,
talking
I
before we
think
started
both of us
recording.
are like both of us are already tired, and I usually by now would have sent Maria a list of things that I wanted to discuss today, and I've got nothing. I think I'm just like I think I'm burnt. I don't think I'm burnt out in terms of me doing stuff because I did
Yeah,
a hell of a bunch of stuff. I literally cleaned out my
same.
emails before we started this today.
Oh shit. That's a
Emails
big
from
deal.
2020.
That's a big deal.
So I'm not like task burnt out. I think that
Uh-huh.
I've been a lot more social this weekend than I normally have been. I think I'm like
Same.
socially burnt out. So
Yeah, I'm socially just spent.
mm,
So we're in the same boat, is what you're telling me.
cool. In good company.
Great. Oh, what'd you do this weekend then?
I went to my mom and my aunt and I have started this new thing of like us going to get dinner, which is super cute and super fun. And
Mm-hmm.
100% is a test to me in my emotional growth. Um,
Okay.
because nothing tests to see if you've grown as a person than putting you with the people who you've grown up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then yesterday, Dan and I went down to Seaside to hang with some of my friends who work at summer camp with me. It was just. And then last weekend we hung out with my college friends. So it's just been,
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. I like hanging out with people and I like being social in the summer. But I'm just like,
It's tiring.
yeah, I'm just tired. It's tiring being social.
Yeah, I'm just so tired. I mean, clearly I'm at my mom's, so
Yeah.
I've been spending time with them. And also Kate's going to college next weekend. So, we've been hanging out, and then because we had a party Friday, I invited you last minute.
Yeah, you totally did. And that's totally fine. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I couldn't come.
No, you're fine because I invited random people last minute because it's not my party to throw. And then
Yeah.
I saw there was just so much food that I was like,
Always.
I'm just
There's
gonna randomly invite people.
always so much food.
I know, and I somehow underestimated or whatever. I don't think my mom's ever gonna cook a lot, and then she does, and I'm like, oh, okay, let
All
me just
she
invite
ever
people.
does is cook a lot. What do you mean you
I
underestimate?
know. I don't know. And so that was Friday, and a lot of a good amount of people came, but it's just people I don't interact with as much. So it's
Yeah.
saying hi and how are you and all all that shit.
All the pleasantries.
Yeah. And so that was Friday, and then yesterday, um, I hung out with Aaron and Kate. We went out and shopped, and then just ate and went places. And then today we actually went to the beach in the morning because Kate wanted to
Oh,
go really early. So I'm
of course.
tired, dude.
I get it.
Of course, yeah.
I think I'm literally just gonna like cat nap in the sun. I'm gonna lay out in the sun for the rest of the day after this.
Yeah, I got my sunlight. I got my nature. I got everything,
Yes,
whatever this
same.
weekend. And now I'm just after this, I'm watching movies with Kate. I
Solid.
think
I like
all
that
afternoon.
feeling. Just need a nap. It's so it's funny how I go through these ebbs and flows of like pushing myself to go like it was funny because when we had talked about you had texted me about us being able to come and I was like, oh, like I can probably push myself to do that, like it's fine.
Yeah.
I honestly totally forgot that my aunt was coming in. So I literally got home and I showered and I was laying on the floor, like half
Yeah.
in a state, ready to just conk out. And then my aunt called me and was like, oh, like, by the way, like, I just got here. And I was like, oh, wait, I forgot. I had to, like, really push myself. I mean, I had a great time, but you know
Oh, dude, all
that
the
five
time.
minute, everyone, if you can relate to that 5 minute moment where you're like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I
It
get going, it's fine. But I've
it's
been pushing myself
the
in those moments to do it, and now I'm just like
yeah.
I'm happy that I do it. I don't have no regrets, but like it's tiring
Yeah.
to go back to being done with everything.
I just feel like the older we get, our social battery just dies out quicker.
Yeah, yep.
So
And
it's no offense to anyone. It's just I don't
no,
I'm such a
it's
homebody.
funny. One of the friends that I was with yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
um, So I have this huge pet peeve. I'm not a phone person to begin with. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
who knows that I'd rather not have to be on my phone if I can help it. But I'm not a huge pet peeve of mine is when I'm with somebody and they're like actively on their phones. Like I'm right next
Yeah.
to you and you're actively on your phone. And it's not
Yeah.
something that I think was like raised for me to believe. You know what I mean? It's something that I like 100% my value is like if I'm with you, like
I
your goddamn
be
phone and I should
present.
be with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
bad if I even have to like take a work call or something when I'm with people. But I have a friend who like was we were all a group of us were hanging out and a bunch of people got up and they were on the other side of the table just like on their phone. And at first I was like, ugh, and then I was like, hey, like what's going on? Like why are you
Mhm.
on your phone? What are you doing? And they literally looked up at me and they were like, I'm reading a book. I was like,
That's wild.
what?
That's wild.
On your phone right now? And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, don't you want to like hang out? And he was like,
Yeah.
I like to, and I like, I love this person, and I actually like respect because they had been together like much longer than we like I had gotten there because
Mm-hmm.
and I like balance out my social interactions now.
Of course.
It's hard to make that emotional commitment because I need to take care of myself.
Of course.
And they were like, yeah, I like to be around people, but sometimes I need to just be around people, but not be actively engaged. And
Just
I was
quality time. Yeah.
that is so, and I said to him, I was like, you'd be the perfect person to like go to the beach with or like go on a cruise with because I'm the kind of person who like, I like to lay out and like read and not have to be engaged, but us to be in close quarters and it still be good enough bonding. And I know people who hate that. I was like, you'd be a good person for that. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, like I don't need people to be super engaged with me because like please stop. Like
And
I also need my time.
I think that needs to be communicated. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that
for
needs
sure.
to be like, you need to establish those settings with people, right? And then like certain types of people, like if you have a person where it's like you bond, if you can bond by just being close together and be doing something. I mean, if you think about like all of the trades that we've ever had, like people actively doing activity and to task together, whether they're not engaging or not.
Hmm.
Literally what the friendships that you develop at work are based off of.
Literally.
Like you're tasking at the same time and you're in the same environment, so you
It's just proximity.
right.
Yeah. But but that's what tires, and obviously this is pretty obvious when you say it out loud, but like what tires me out is like actively engaging with so many people.
Yeah.
And it could be just like more than one person like over a weekend. And I'm like, man, like I can't do this next weekend. And yet
It's just
every
so much for
weekend
your
I'm
brain.
like, wow, yeah,
The
it is. Hmm.
even with people that you feel totally like it's totally different and more exhausting to be around people that you don't feel comfortable with because then you feel like you always have to be checking yourself and all that fun
Yeah.
low brain social anxiety stuff. But it's even funny when people you feel totally comfortable around, and I'm somebody who I don't want to speak for everybody because I'm definitely somebody who has that awareness who's like what's that person doing and what's that person doing and what's that like I'm always worrying about what other people are doing and the fact of like hey, can I be connecting with that person right now? And even if you have good relationships and you're in a safe space, when you're around multiple people, it can feel, and you don't even maybe notice it in the moment, but like later on, you're like, damn, I'm tired from that. Like your brain is just going at 100.
This is also a good reason why I don't mix friend groups. Like when I hang out with people, like you have separate friend groups and like they're not it's not like you intentionally like whatever. Like, work
It's just
friends, like blah
life
blah,
is
all this
easier that
stuff,
way.
right, to put them in like different whatever. And like when you and I've had people mix friend groups and it's the most awkward thing for the person that is the like connector between the friend groups.
Hmm.
Because like I can see them getting burnt out. I'm like, because you're like three different people if you have three different friend groups.
Hmm.
Like you so like that also like
There's
throws
different
me
expectations
into
in the social settings.
right. So like I don't do that, which is good because then I get thrown into a loop if I have my different friend groups in one spot.
Yeah.
But like even if I hang out with different friend groups over the weekend, it's like three different people, that I
Yeah.
have to be.
And it's
That
not it's not that it's saying like you're being somebody else. It's just there are different versions of yourself that you are,
highlight.
yeah, let out in
Yeah.
those social situations. It's funny because when so for anybody who doesn't know, I had like two childhood best friends, and when we were in college, I introduced my two childhood best friends, and everybody was like so worried about it being an issue. At
Hmm.
first, it was kind of awkward for me. Not awkward because of like I was a different person with each of them. The only reason why they were able to come together is because I was the same person with both of them because they were they were my best friends. But it was weird
Hmm.
at first to watch them interact. I know it was awkward for them at first to like figure out like what is common between us aside from the fact that we're both friends with Brittany. But it's funny. That was the only setting that I could see that being successful because it's like one person, it's one person that knows you just as well as the other person does. And like
Hmm.
all the same parts of you and
Hmm.
all the same parts of you. But yeah, it's hard to.
It's just hard socializing as like an introvert, like inherently an introvert, you know. Because like I'm extroverted only at work because like that's just my work. But like when it comes like personally, it's just like I don't want to. I don't want to do anything. And they get thrown into hosting a party. Like yes, it's my mom's house, but like obviously us being the host, like it's just like,
Yeah.
is everyone good? You need it. Like oh my god,
Honestly, I feel like that's easier because then you know what's expected of you, right? Like you know what
that's so
responsibilities you have.
tiring
It
though.
is tiring, but at least you know, like you understand the assignment. Like you know what the assignment is, and you can easily just do the tasks for the assignment and be a successful host. And it's not, oh, my stomach is grumbling. I definitely did not eat lunch. I got so literally dove into setting up I was home for like 2 hours after my client, and I got so wrapped up in doing stuff on my computer because I hate doing stuff on my computer that I was like, all right, I need to get everything done, and my stomach just grumbled to remind me that I didn't eat anything.
We'll eat right after this.
I will. I will.
That's the moral of that. But also, it's also tiring cleaning up after a party.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
This is why people go out and don't
Well,
do.
do you see the warmers, our infamous
Oh
warmers
yeah, yeah.
in the back?
Food warmers, yeah.
They still have to be put
Yes.
away.
Um,
Oh my God. So
that
yeah.
takes some time. And I definitely we had like our show at camp, or
Hmm.
but like it was the show that I produced.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm already like the whole like cleaning up idea. I'm the kind of person who I things can go either one of two ways. It's like I either want to get it all done afterwards and I don't have to see it anymore. Like me at camp, I'm already cleaning up at camp. Like we have a whole week left this week and I'm already cleaning and organizing and putting things away. Like, all right, let's get our to-do list done.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, it can sit there until it bothers me enough. I guess it depends on how like intrusive the thing, like those would probably
Yeah.
be there for weeks until I like went on a cleaning frenzy and then was like, all right, those have to go away now.
Yeah. Like these will probably be gone by tonight just because like someone's gonna get irked between like me, my mom, and my sister.
Yeah.
So like that's gonna be gone. But like I get that. If I'm like alone, like my condo, like it can it can sit
Yeah,
until
as
I
long as
get
it's not in
annoyed.
the way of like the basic
My
functions of life.
livelihood. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. That
Yeah.
laundry is literally gonna actually that's what I have to do after this. You have to put my I folded all of it and I cleaned all of it. Most important tasks. They just sit in the basket until I decide.
Dude, putting away clothes, let me tell you how annoying that is.
I have 100% decided I am I don't know what the word is for this or if there's like clinical a clinical thing. I have clothing anxiety
In what sense?
in the and I think that part of it's from like my mother, but
Hmm.
I am so afraid, and I think I've had this happen to me too many times, that I'm gonna get rid of a piece of clothing and then want it or need it for something.
So you just hoarding clothes? Is that what you're saying?
I do. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
And it's a problem that I am going to deal with. And I think part of the other problem with it, and the reason why, so right, the anxiety, people have anxiety. Anxiety is the fear of the unknown, right? Like literally having to manage the fear of the unknown. And I think part of the reason why this has become an issue for me, and if anybody else can relate to this, let me know, is because I wear so many different things for the different hats that I have. And I don't
Oh,
have so many
interesting.
different hats. So, and then within those certain hats, it's like I want to have like options to have things. And what if I need something? So I think that's part of the problem of how it has happened. But I really
Hmm.
need to like, I need to stop worrying about not like I I could clothe like a small civilization
With the amount of clothes.
if I really, really wanted to with the amount of clothes that I have. And a lot of them are not even clothes that I like. I pulled out a pair of shorts last week to wear to the beach. You know how shorts these days tend to get higher on the waist, but yet also tend to get higher on the butt so that their cheeks out?
Yeah, yeah.
I have a pair of them and I hate them because I don't like that. Put your cheeks away, people.
Agreed. Okay, so and now?
And I have a single pair that I've literally had that my mother bought me, I think, when I was a teenager. And I still have them. And I wore them to the beach for like 3 hours because you know you need to wear something onto the beach and then you take them off anyway. And I pulled them out and I was like, this is the one time this year that I'm gonna wear these shorts because I now will not look at them. And that, like, why do I own those shorts then? I need to give them to somebody who wants their cheeks to be out all year long, I guess.
Yeah, like yeah, I wonder where where that
Gotta,
stems from.
I mean, it's gotta be my mother because that's something that I've definitely learned. My mother's closet is
Fact.
like the daydream of like whatever this word I'm just gonna call it clothing anxiety is. My mother has
Yeah.
everything in a billion trillion options and like and what I remember her telling me, well, what if you need this? And what if you need
Oh
that?
yeah, that came from that.
So
Then yes, it came from your mother.
and
But you don't need that
I
many
don't.
items
And
of
it's so
clothing.
funny because I'm not like that with anything.
Anything else?
Like
Yeah, I know it was
like that
taught.
with shoes. Like
Hmm.
I'm just like that with the physical thing, like the physical material that goes on my body.
Yeah, yeah.
I want nothing of anything else in the world, but I want to carry all of my clothes around endlessly.
Maybe you should Marie Kondo that closet. Does this bring
Yeah,
me joy? Yes or no?
yeah.
Not even like
Oh,
how
it
many times
totally.
have I worn it a year
And
within the year? You know what I'm saying?
the funniest part is I don't even shop. Like I just ordered clothes
I don't shop anymore,
for
or
the
not
first
anymore, but like
time
yeah.
in months on months. I don't even know. Since
Hmm.
it was like 3 or 4 months ago, I ordered like three different shirts. I don't even shop that much. So the worst part of it is like these are clothes that I've had, which I mean is good, like my clothes are lasting, but these are clothes
Oh
that I've
yeah, for sure.
had for years. Like I just said those shorts, I'm 90%
High
sure
school.
I bought me those shorts at the end of high school or like going
So
in.
it's been years.
And most of the clothing that I get is clothing that I get from other people too, because I don't have any interest in shopping. So I don't have any interest in buying the clothes and get no joy or fulfillment out of the experience of having like purchasing them, but I hold on to them.
Same.
Such a
Yeah,
weird.
I only own like basic things, and I just mix and match because like I couldn't care less anymore. But like if you're saying you have like shorts from like high school that you wear
I
once
really need to get rid
maybe
of them.
every
It's
summer, then
awful.
like you could probably find another
The
pair of
amount of
shorts you
times that
have
I actually
already.
get to dress myself up, like the amount of times that I'm getting dressed where I'm like, I'm dressing because this is showing my personality is like,
Minimal for me now.
right.
I like go out and I'm
God.
like, this is the same outfit I probably wore last week to go
Uh-huh.
grocery shopping. Like I don't
Yay.
really care
Yeah,
anymore.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some type of like term for
It's just like a learned thing that you got
a
from
learned
growing up.
hoarding clothing
Anxiety. A
anxiety.
learned anxiety.
Learned anxiety. Win.
I feel like, and this isn't like a read or anything, like I feel like whenever I went to your place, like someone was always doing laundry
Oh yeah.
when we were growing
I
up.
mean, that's what happens when you have a shit tons of clothes. Like even my dad kind of hoards clothes. And it's
Yeah.
like the random t-shirts that never
Mm.
worn that he just has to buy because he wants them. I don't really don't want to be a hoarder. Like I don't want to be a hoarder.
You're okay. Well, you won't. I don't
I won't
think
be.
you will
No, I won't be because I'll
because
get
you
really
get
annoyed with
annoyed.
yeah, I'll get annoyed with things and just throw them away.
Do you watch Hoarders or have you watched an episode of Hoarders?
No, it scares me.
It's scary, actually.
I
It's like a
think
horror film.
It is one of the saddest
It's so
manifestations of
yeah.
mental illness.
Yeah. It's
I
an illness.
yeah, I think it's a really sad manifestation of
It's like
this.
terrifying because like the quality of life is terrifying. I feel obviously very bad for the people that are going through this. I'm like, this is like, I hope they get help, blah blah blah. But like, it's just terrifying to see like the uh the house like in that
Yeah,
state,
the
and just
effect
like the extent of
and thinking of like living in that.
like actively living in that, not like
Yeah,
passing by and like
yeah.
it's wild.
And then it's like even scary when we think of what does the inside of that person's brain look like, because the
Yeah,
the hoarding is just a physical manifestation of whatever is going on inside of their head. So that also is terrifying.
and like when they like Marie Kondo, basically it's basically what they're doing when they're doing the
Yeah,
consultations, and like, oh, it's like, do you need this, like it's like a Marie Kondo thing.
yeah.
They're like, no, but I might need it, and
That's how I
like
feel about clothes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
but thankfully it's only just clothes, like that's manageable. It's not like you
Yeah,
hoard like,
yeah. That
I don't know.
I think part of the reason why I also get that way is because I probably don't shop enough. So I'm always worried that like I won't have something I need. You know what I mean? Like if I shop more, I probably wouldn't have it because I'd be like, oh, I can just get another one.
Would you, is it like, do you feel bad just like throwing it out or giving it away?
Do you want to know what my problem is with it
Mm.
more than I do with anything else? I feel like we're really just irresponsible with the way that we produce things in this
Oh,
country.
like fast fashion,
Yeah.
like the Forever
I mean, there
21s
are a
and
million
the
other things that we do that with, but I think clothing is one of the ones that I see
a
like
lot more.
clearly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's also probably why I'm a person who like doesn't get a new phone all the time and doesn't get a new car all the time, because I think that the mass production of anything is like a part of why we're dealing with what we're dealing with in our country, like geologically and
Yeah, just globally.
wise and like economically. Um, so like I am somebody who believes in sustainability with things. So part of me is like, if I buy new stuff all the time, here's the channel of my psyche, my psyche on this whole sentence, figuring this out. I don't want to contribute to more of the mass problem of our lack of sustainability and like a production industry aspect. So I don't buy clothes a lot. But
Hmm.
because I don't buy clothes a lot, I don't my brain doesn't realize that when I need something I can just buy whatever I need and I
Yeah, it's not like a
it,
thing.
and then I get anxious about throwing things away because then I'm worried I won't have what I need.
Or you could thrift.
Close the book. Huh?
You could thrift. That's like not contributing to new products.
Oh no, that's
It's
I most of my clothes I do buy in certain situations. It's just that I don't I'm gonna I don't want to say I don't have the time. I don't make the space or the time for me to do that's like a full-time fucking job. Like I don't actively make the space or time to do that.
fair enough. That's absolutely fair. Okay.
So
No, I agree. I mean, the mass production of clothing in particular, especially when like these are being made in factories that are not like, that are borderline like inhumane,
yeah.
you know, that is just like off-putting. Um, because when I do shop, it's like, I mean, it's still like at the mall, but like it's only like one thing. It's not like when I was younger and like we needed like a whole new freaking thing,
Yeah.
And like we actually went thrifting yesterday. So
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
yeah, so
Some
it's
of the
like,
best like items that I've picked up
all right, thrift shops.
are thrifted. And that's why I like at least at like that's why I always liked shopping at like TJ Maxx and stuff, because they're not full on thrifting, but they're taking things that are, wouldn't get put out otherwise, that are from collections that they made too much of, and they're putting it out and making it accessible.
But it's like you made too much, so like let's cut down. You know, you would think that like companies would, but
Oh
they
yeah.
produce it at such a low cost that they're like, we'll take the hit.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, like a $50 pair of pants probably cost them $2.
Yeah.
Like,
Talking about things that this is like a random side note, but talking about things that we have access to or abundance of, and people capitalizing on being able to make money on it. So, where do we get, question for you, and then I'll tell you all the backstories. And I didn't know this prior to knowing this. Where does all
Obviously.
the information about the weather come from?
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Where do we get all of our information about the weather? Are you looking at me and shaking your head right now?
Dan already you're telling
Dan
her this
watched
right
the
now?
same thing that I watched. So.
Oh, okay. Where do we get all the information
They
about
didn't know.
weather?
Dan just said he asked one of his coworkers about it too because he was curious after we watched this, and he said they didn't know either.
Oh, I love it.
Rough.
So the question is, where do we get all our information
Where
about
do you
the
get
weather
your
from?
information about the weather?
Well, now is my app, my weather app on my phone.
What weather app do you use?
Just the standard Apple weather app, which is weather.com or weatherchannel.com, whatever the hell that.
Those two. Okay.
Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, okay, do you remember the show that I used to rave to you about? Adam Ruins Everything.
I was just gonna say, is Adam ruined everything? Did he ruin something?
Something. So on Netflix, Dan and I were trying to find something to watch, and there is a new series by Adam Conover that is produced by President Obama.
Oh, that's sick. That's cool.
It's called The G Word. And it's all about like uncovering what the government does and doesn't. All of the same premise of his Adam Ruins Everything, where he like uses all the resources and the fact checking and stuff and shows everything on the screen. And one of the very interesting things talk about capitalism, and I hope that someone, not that they would, but I hope that this helps somebody, change their behaviors in some way, shape, or form if they listen to it. So all of the satellites that span above the US that track the weather are from an organization run by the government called the National Weather Service. As an American citizen, we all have access to that information and the data that's collected for charge.
Makes sense. It's a government agency. Like anything government wise is the citizens' right.
Companies like AccuWeather and weather.com don't want you to know that. And charge people for subscriptions to get access to their weather tracking system, even though they are getting all of their initial data from the National Weather Service information because it's out there, right? They sprinkle a little bit of their own bullshit like information into the data that's collected, not necessarily making it any better, just adding their own shit to it. And then they charge people to get access to it.
I think that's so stupid. Like, way to capitalize on nature's existence.
Because they do that, they're creating competition for the National Weather Service, and people are not realizing that their tax money is what makes it possible for them to get access to the Weather Service, to get access to it. So AccuWeather is trying to get people to like yell at and be mad at the National Weather Service, so the National Weather Service shuts down. But AccuWeather gets their weather from the National Weather Service satellites, because how else would they?
How else? Yeah.
Getting like there's like 22 satellites that are over the U.S. at any time. They are trying to create a competition to say that if anybody gets free weather from the National Weather Service, they're the enemy, and are trying to stop people from getting access to. AccuWeather's intent over the next 10 years is to stop people from getting access to free weather.
I think that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Alerts that come in about tornadoes and hurricanes and mass weather change and destructive weather, they want people to not have access to unless they pay for it through AccuWeather.
I think this I hate capitalism. Like, capitalism in its like purest form is like, let me backtrack. This capitalism, whatever generation of capitalism we're in right now, isn't this so destructive? It's so people are so annoying. Companies are so annoying. Corporate anything is so annoying.
And the Weather Service has the ability to, like, when a lot of major
Hmm.
hurricanes were about to hit, they're the reason why people get access. Like they're the reason why we get those red alerts about floods and everything like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're the reason why people can get evacuated from places because they're able to send all of that information out. But if they
They cut funding
cut
or
funding on
whatever.
all of that, we lose the ability to save lives.
And like the people that fall for this don't do their due diligence on
Correct.
researching. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like,
I mean, full disclosure, it's funny, you know, I didn't even know that getting the weather was you know what I mean, like something that we just got for, like, I know it's just something that shows up on my phone that I can get, without having to.
mhm.
It's mind-boggling when
I
you
don't.
realize, like it's a good, like, yay the government for giving us free weather, like that's cool, and being able to do that.
Isn't it wild though? Like, wow, our weather is free. Like, it's not even a second, like a thought.
Right, it's just like okay, we get it.
It's
It's
like, oh, like,
you never, right? Like I don't actively think about that, but if we didn't have it, think about how different our lives would be and how many more people's lives would be in danger. So it's like
mhm.
that's why I like the show, is because it brings out, like, these are the things that the government actually does, and like huzzah, and then it's like, but this is the shit that they're not doing, and like boo. So it's like it talks like both
Yeah.
ends of it. But that was something that I was like, yeah, like this is talk about taking advantage of the fact that you already get something for free, so let's charge people for it now.
Why? Why? Like, why? It's the weather.
I'm sorry, but this is the entire bottled water industry.
Oh, yeah.
And the marketing on, like, I had a full-on conversation, and I just double checked this.
Mhm.
I interact with a lot of people in the medical wellness field.
Of
And
course.
I'm just, because it's become such a hot topic and such a buzzword to talk about, like bottled waters and what's right for hydration. And I ask anybody that I come across. And I was talking with a nurse friend last week, asking them about their thoughts on it. But when I was at tour, hydration's a big issue when we're traveling and singing and in the heat and everything. And
Mhm.
one of my staff, asked me, like, they saw me buy a bottle of water because we didn't have any water on the bus. And they were like, what makes you choose that water? Like, this is the water that I drink. And like, it says it has like a balanced level of pH and like all of these things. You choose that water. And I was like, there's no such thing as balancing your level of water. Like, purified water isn't necessarily a good thing because you need the minerals in your body to hydrate you. Like, having to explain, like, there are hundreds and hundreds of different types of waters, and they all try to
Yeah,
market
what the fuck? I'm just mad.
purified is the
Yeah.
best way to go, and that you need to be this and that and ionized and all of these things for it to be like the best water for you to drink. And like, no.
Those, like,
It's
I
really
hate that I'm wearing, like, I'm wording this in this way because I don't know how else to word this, but these like specialty water bottles, like water brands, like it's like fucking like black water. You know what I'm talking about? Like boxed water.
right,
Like,
right.
it's just instead of like a water bottle, it's like in a carton, like a
Oh
milk
yeah,
carton,
Dan got
and
mad
like,
because we were grocery shopping and I got a milk carton water bottle because I thought it was interesting. And he was
and
like,
like, better for the environment because plastic.
yeah, cardboard, yeah.
But also
That's
there's
why I
like
got it.
there's black water, like it's just dyed black. I don't know what the hell's in
I've
it.
never
Like,
even heard of
other
that before. Why is
girl,
that a
just
thing?
Google black water. I think like one
Why?
of them just
What
came out,
fucking
and it's like
bullshitty reasons are they trying to come up with? What?
I think there's one called Liquid Death. Oh, it's sparkling water. But anyways, I like these like
There's a song
specialty.
named Black Water by the Doobie Brothers.
I think
Also a 2007 horror film called Blackwater. This will pop up when I search it on Google. Okay, Blackwater, I see it. BLK.
yeah, that one.
Natural mineral alkaline. Stop.
Granted, I don't know if it's actually black, but the bottle,
I was gonna
right?
say,
Like,
these words are contradictory of one another. The bottle is black, correct.
but there's also people that stand by water bottle brands. Like, there's people that stand by not drinking
You're not
Dasani.
showing me the color of the. Ugh.
Is it black?
It's
I've never
like
bought one. It just looks
Coca-Cola
like it,
colored. It looks like
right? It's black. It's like they dyed water black.
the fuck is wrong with these people? It's not even black. It's Coca-Cola colored. It's brown.
That's gross.
It's brown.
But so like,
I
why?
can't believe that I'm looking at this fucking right now. I want
Yeah,
the ingredients.
alkaline or
No,
something.
stop. I hate people. I hate people so much. We need to stop trying to say that we need to put stuff in our body that balances our pH
pH.
level. Your fucking body,
Doesn't it regulate it?
it's your body's job to regulate the acid level. And when you have too much acid, it's from the food that you're eating. Like when people get acid reflux and stuff like that, you are not going. This is dumb. This is just dumb. Stop doing this.
The bottom line though, right? Like this is laziness at its finest. I think the bottom line, if you need to fucking balance your pH, like change your diet.
Correct.
Like, it's not this
If you are
magical
eating
water.
a bunch of fucking highly acidic foods and you're wondering why you're getting ulcers or you're having stomach cramps or you're getting a lot of acid reflux, you're not going to chug 3 bottles of this fucking black water and hope that it changes anything in your body.
Fix your gut. Like fix your gut health first, like people.
I'm reading about this right now and I just can't.
But like to your point, like why is there a whole water bottle industry?
Because because they can. That's why there's a water bottle.
Which also like brings me back to like Flint, Michigan, and how come like they never got like I don't know, I haven't followed up on that recently, like that town. But when they didn't have clean water, or they might not still have clean water, why the government can't just like fix that?
That's the funny thing too. The reason why I enjoyed this show so much is because it really did dive into the power that the government has versus the power the government doesn't have. And I mean, not because I'm biased in any way, shape, or form, but this is okay. Here's a moment of education that I really appreciated because it helped. I already had this argument, but it helped me defend my argument. The reason why America got fucked during COVID, everyone had a reason, blah, blah, blah. There's all these, whatever. The major reason why we all got fucked during COVID is because all of the systems and the programs that would have been in place to help manage a national health crisis like this were disbanded by Trump when he came into his presidency.
That was one of the things, yeah, 100%. Like President Obama gave like a handbook and was like, here you go, like here's everything that you need to know because like our scientists think that something's happening soon. And Trump's like, nah.
But like, and this show really well, like explained it really, really well and was like the way that our government, and it's true, the way that our government functions is similar to the way an orchestra performs. You have all of your sections and all of your instruments that have to come together to produce what like the function of the government all as one. As the conductor of the orchestra, Trump came in and was like, we don't need this section of the orchestra and we don't need this section of the orchestra and I don't need you to be here. So when it was time for them to perform for COVID, he had like a fucking
they had like this
person and like the fucking horn section and that was all that was there.
And you know, I do remember when everything was going down. I forget what her name is. That woman that used to talk for him all the time, whatever that position is. She's like, the Obama administration gave us this big of a book. It was like a tiny, like whatever. And then everyone that worked for the administration or like had something to say about that was like, no, like they took away every other page or like did whatever XYZ.
That made me frustrated.
But of course, like the news outlets and like Trump supporters were like, this is their fault. Blah 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 blah.
Back
I'm
to
like,
what you said, why when things happen, and then they were looking at the other side and like another example of this where like this was just wrong and the system. There's two sides of it, right? It's either people that sit in the seats and the powers at play fuck up the system, or the system runs exactly as it's intended to and it's just fucked up. Like those are the two opposite, like the two options. They also talked about what happened with Puerto Rico during their hurricane and how, you know, it took FEMA so long to get there and all of that stuff. And like how FEMA's been like fucked up for years in the way that it functions and not getting the funding and support that it needs. But at the same time, it's like, well, you know, Dan and my argument about it was like, there's levels of elitism and socialism and racism involved in this endlessly, because when everything happened with Sandy, to claim that there's no money is bullshit, because when everything happened with Sandy, all of these private investors came in and everyone wanted to make sure that Sandy was up and running and New Jersey was fine.
Yeah.
Like FEMA barely had to step in there, but like we're talking Puerto Rico and you're talking about classism, racism, all the other
was
going to step in to do anything. So that is there funding?
Even you can even like
the system working the way the system's supposed to work.
You can even like argue like when Katrina happened down south.
True. Yeah. Even they're closer to home and still that level of. So I don't know. I just do they have a lot of power to be able to deal with whatever's going on? Yeah. Are they always making the right choices?
No.
To do that? No. Do I 100% think that this whole I'm still stuck on the whole water situation, because why are we allowing companies? It's ironic and redundant when New Jersey is one of the only states where they're not doing the plastic bag situation, but like you drive 20 minutes into like Pennsylvania or like Maryland and it's like there are plastic bags everywhere. Like if you have the power to do something about like the fucking plastic bottles. I just looked on Amazon at that black water stuff and there were thousands and thousands of different water brands coming out with plastic bottles. Like fucking do something about it. So
this just reminded me of something I saw obviously on TikTok. my weekly TikTok news thing. So Sprite apparently is changing their green bottles to like clear, like every other bottle, whatever, saying like it's more friendly because they don't have to dye the thing and like blah blah blah. And then someone was like, no guys, like they're doing this because when you look at like, you know, a whole landfill and you see water like plastic bottles, you know the green one is Sprite.
Right.
It's literally just propaganda of them just blending in. Isn't that wild? Is that something to think about? Isn't that wild? Are you shook? Isn't it? Your brain hurts.
You're fucking. People are. Marketing is evil.
Isn't it wild?
Evil.
PR is evil. Evil sometimes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Isn't that wild? When I saw that, I was like, oh no. I was like shook. I was like, that's messed up.
And then you wonder why.
Because you can tell, obviously, a green bottle.
More manipulative and conniving and like that.
Just trying to make money or whatever. Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Right. That is unacceptable. Get your shit together. Like, for real? That is bullshit.
Isn't that wild?
But like again, why is somebody else not stepping in and being like, guess what, you guys? Everyone has to go to like, I don't know. You have to do this now. Done.
Is glass more sustainable?
Or like you should fucking have to pay a fine. Even if it's a couple pennies. I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
A lot. Like you have to pay a fine. And then but then it's like, it becomes a whole thing of like, then if this is where all of this is bullshit. But then it's like, if they have to pay a fine and you charge them to do anything with manufacturing, then they'll just
up the prices.
Not even that. Not even like they'll just outsource any of their production to another country, and then we'll all have to pay. The bottom line is that the people will have to pay more money because they'll get it imported and it'll be more expensive for us.
Do you also know about like landfill politics? I want to say politics because I'm going to say like politics. This particularly happens like in the Philippines, but like China ships their garbage to the Philippines and dumps it there. Like that's a thing that happens overseas, by the way, guys. Like I don't know if you guys know this, but like things like that happen, and like I know it's a political issue that like I've seen it every so often when I go to the Philippines, and like, oh, like more garbage is coming and filling our landfills from like other countries, and like I don't know the politics behind it, but like things like that happen too. Like there's a lot of garbage in the
It's
world
like
that like people are shipping.
the floating garbages that are off,
Shipping.
like people don't know they're off the shorelines of New York, like the
Yeah,
floating garbage islands that are just out there.
just like there people just they go to islands to go dump their garbage. Like there's just so much things that we produce that the earth is this is why the earth is the way it is. Like that's also a thing. Like you should look it up. Yeah. Oh, also another thing, because now we're on like the environment, like whatever. Remember how like when we were younger, like the ozone layer was like deteriorating or something? Do you remember the whole
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like there's no more talk of the ozone stuff.
Yeah, there was a little hole.
Yeah. Well, apparently a global like I guess I don't know if it was the UN or whatever, but globally all the world leaders were like, all right, let's fix it. And we fixed it. Now, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but we can't fix climate change.
How
It's
do you
like the
fix the
ozone
ozone
layer is,
layer?
girl, I don't know, but something happened. They made a thing and like the global leaders like and the scientists did that shit. So like that's why like we don't hear anything about the ozone layer apparently. But now it's like we can't get anything done with climate change.
All right,
You can
Google.
Google that.
How did the
There's a
ozone
there's a
layer get
whole
fixed?
there's a whole
I
tweet
do
thing.
remember that.
And now it's like gone. No one talks about the
I
ozone
remember the
layer.
fear of it.
Yeah.
Remember the fear of it.
Look, the world is fucked. No one wants to do anything, and people are just throwing their garbage around other countries' land. So there's that. And Sprite is changing their bottle, apparently. So
Apparently, they closed it in 2020. Apparently, yes, that it did. And so they were able to retract a certain number of bad things that were in the air to help it heal itself.
yeah. Was it because there was a global like all the leaders were like, let's do this? Because it can't just be like one country. Like it has to be the whole world.
They reduced. So right here's a perfect example of them being able to step in when they say the problem's not like when they need to step in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chlorofluorocarbons,
Sure.
one
Mm-hmm.
detrimental gases to the ozone layer, which has a high level of chlorine.
Mm.
So which was a very commonly used in every fucking thing in the 1980s, which led to this situation. So they stopped it from being in. Scientists pinpointed that release of that gas was the problem. So like the world leaders came together and said we have to ban this.
And they did?
Oh. Yeah, the way that they were able to do it is by eliminating that being a risk and attacking what was in the ozone layer. So now instead of having to worry about the things that are coming in from the outside, we've just created the most intense greenhouse effect as we strengthen the barrier between us and the rest of the universe and just boil ourselves from the inside out. Ta-da! One problem crisis averted. Let's
Also
get another more intense one.
Also, I just Googled like the whole Sprite thing while you're doing that. And Coca-Cola, who obviously owns Sprite, if people didn't know that, was saying that they're transitioning to the clear plastic to increase the material's likelihood of being remade into a new beverage bottle.
Here they are.
That's the statement they're putting out. I'm pretty sure it's easy either way. Brittany's like, if you're not watching, she's like slowly just like leaving the screen.
This is my state of sus.
Just like eyes.
State of sus. I mean,
well, isn't that wild?
Great. If it happens to also do that, that's amazing. But you're totally full of shit if you don't realize that the PR position that I put you in.
I think it's definitely a PR thing. Like truth or false, whatever. It doesn't look good on the company if you see green bottles in these like
companies
landfill.
only take action towards the good
their reputation.
But PR, because of anything related to a PR positioning. I can't. I mean, I do I want to be in the seats of any of these people who are trying to protect and maintain their millions and millions of dollars and have to deal with all of this shit?
No,
Absolutely not.
I'm good.
I think
Yeah.
that you kind of fucking suck if you aren't doing anything about any of this larger bullshit and you're still thinking that money is more important than the human life. Yeah. But like, I understand it's not a fun place to have to sit. I totally get that. I'm so happy that I'm not you because I can sleep at night.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
struggling
good.
with my little bit of clothing anxiety. I don't know how you live. And whatever higher power that you have, good God, I hope is gracious and kind to you too. Not that any of it matters, but holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a completely ignorant stump to be able to live in
Like
that type
that.
of position and be okay with at least that aspect. I'm sure that they talk to themselves about all the good that they do with their money and all the donations and the
Oh, let's hope that they donate.
right. That's very true. But like, how do you? I just having to be in the position where you have to justify that.
Girl, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. I don't know.
I will stick to hanging out in my closet while you guys deal with all of that.
The mass production of everything.
Well, I hope that by unintentional unintentional words and actions we did somehow create a trigger for you during this episode.
I hope you learned something about Sprite and Coca-Cola.
Good God. I think so. Wait, this
And
is
the
99th.
weather.
This is our 99th episode, right?
Yes, happy 99th episode.
99th episode. The reason why I'm asking that is because this episode very nicely ties into the way that we're going to be, our intent into the way that we're going to be like rebranding and being more.
Like not unironically, I guess just like unintentionally we did
No, because the reality
perfect
of the
timing.
situation is that we've been doing this long enough to know like what we tend to talk to and really be able to like iron out an intention that we have in this podcast, and like we definitely stayed true to that like new brand that you'll be introduced to in our next episode. So, but I hope you walked away with some type of information and some type of own awareness to your own perspective and place in all of the things that we talked about today. And if that's the case, good or bad or happy,
Indifferent,
whatever, yeah, indifferent, however you feel right now, that you feeling something and you thinking something is our intent. So mission accomplished.
Cool. Yeah.
Yay!
Don't buy specialty waters. That's that. Get a Brita.
Get a Brita, filter your water however you need to, and then look for a way to remineralize your water. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't talk anymore.
Your water.
Remineralize your water so that you're not unintentionally dehydrating yourself by drinking water that has no minerals in it, because you need minerals in your water to be able to actually absorb the water.
Period.
Science lesson. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you on our 100th episode.
Okay, bye.